All right, here on the bench we have a very dirty, very broken Epiphone Zephyr. There it is. Missing its little name plate up here. Two little screw holes. Boop, boop. And there's something strange going on in this neighborhood right here. Look at that. Not to mention, Crunch City. Whoop. It's sticky enough. Held on to some fuzz here. Integrated fuzz. That's not good. Most of the binding's detached, so at least I don't think it's going to be too hard to take apart. Look at this whittled looking end pin. Alright, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it down with this damp rag so it's less awful to touch. The rot is so intense on this celluloid pick guard. It's crazy cloud. I got to get it off. There. Ah! Oh, there's that. These screws don't match. That one's like aluminum, like a hardware store screw. They're both. Neither of those are quite right. I'm freaking out like it's in great shape. Oh man. That is so grimy. And you can see how it's turned green where all the celluloid's been off-gassing. Man, that thing is... It's sort of like a flip-flop. An old flip-flop shape. You see like a mom hucking this across a rumpus room. Ugh. What melted and left all this? Ugh. It feels like maybe thinner was spilt on it. It looks like finish has been melted off of this and has dripped. This is the fourth different screw on this. This is kind of a cool screw. This is a little brass. That's an old screw. Old brass flathead. Holding on this weird little steel bracket that's very corroded. Look at that. Look at that grime. Ah. It's very rare you get dust under a neck joint. Look at that. That neck block is really broken. I'm really anxious to get the back off this. Ugh. I don't think it's going to be that hard. I wonder. Look, yeah. Hold on. The binding. I think I can just... There it goes. The first thing you notice when you pick up this guitar is how incredibly heavy it is for an arch top. And part of that is this plywood back, certainly, I'll measure the top tube, I bet it's the same, is a 1/4 inch thick of plywood. That's pretty wild. I'll try to get the rest of this binding off. I'm sort of lucky. It's just the adhesive coming off. It's not really taking lacquer with it, except where it's already gone. I don't know what happened to this. I think this guitar got a really bad impact at some point. Probably quite a long time ago. I'm being extra careful just because I think it's good to just practice being careful on these sorts of things. Being careless doesn't really give you any skills, you know. Even though this binding is not going to be saved. I'm gonna, if this body goes back together, I'll rebind it with new binding. It's more than half, at least half of it's gone. Score this so I don't rip anything on accident. There we go. It's a very small area. See, in just scoring it, I do probably more damage than me ripping the... So it's right at the joint, but it's still This old lacquer is very crazed and barely holding on. There we go. All right, let's get this frequencator out. Yeah, someone whittled this end pin. This is adorable, quite frankly. Look at this thing. Oh, I love that. Are these two the same? These two might be the same. No. They're different. Oh my god. There's so much gross shit under there. And that was under there. Look at this cool ground. You really like that little ground scheme. Ooh. Get this fuzz off. Ugh. These knobs are dirty and you can really see this really neat texture they have to them. However they're cast, they're sort of this fine line texture. They're very cool knobs. I think we'll just remove this whole wiring harness. There we go. The nut on this jack is so much squarer and thicker than modern. I'm turning it in there. It's not good. And it's really stuck to this washer. There it goes. Alright, I should be able to pull the whole harness out through this pickup hole. And watch that not be the case. These screws, I bet, are original, these pickup screws. They look the part. These look like they could be 50s screws. But what's that even mean, really? It means something. Hardware was different. It's probably the most valuable part of this guitar. This pickup. Really careful. There's some numbers on the bottom of it. 16872. Which I'm sure means something. These are single coil pickups that look like they're mini humbuckers. Oh, wow. Will this make it out through the sound hole? Ugh, it's even grimy inside. How do we get this in here? I think this is the best way out of the guitar. Good Lord. It's like a paper and oil capacitor here. And it's absolutely enormous, and it's keeping me from being able to... Like, I really don't want to force this. This stuff's all old. Pick up a little closer. This is like the most stressful game of operation. Where you keep getting this, like, green-brown dust on you. See, the thing is, I can't imagine it went in through these sound holes. Maybe it's a little wider right there. I don't think so. Sound hole is about 1 inch wide at the widest. This is, yeah, it's slightly less. Am I gonna have to unsolder? How? How am I gonna unsolder? Oh man. I can't imagine that's how they did this. A lot of damage, these super fragile leads. And the pickup can go in there now that I've taken the surround off. This thing is so delicate, because I can see the coil in there. This is stressful, man. This is worse than I thought it'd be. The problem is I feed this through, it's going to be a never land. I suppose I can probably get the harness out here. There's the jack. Get the harness out here, desolder the pickup from it, and then it's that way. Because I don't want to drop that pickup down in there. It's just asking for disaster. Can you imagine how I'm going to put this back together? It boggles the mind. It's best not to think about that at this point. One could lose their mind. That's what I probably should have done. I probably should have just left the pickup where it was and tried to remove all this stuff first. But live and you learn. Maybe. Maybe this way first. It'd be a pity if I scratched it. This is the widest part of the guitar, as far as I can tell. I don't know if it's got to come out of this hole. These are not uncommon guitars, too, so can you imagine the guy whose job it was to do this all day? Fish these electronics into this thing? Whatever. Alright, it's a new day and I have newfound vigor for trying to get this wiring harness out of here. Watch that evaporate in real time. Alright, we got a better angle so you can see me break down at a better angle now. Like, it seems to me it would have to go stem first and then out at an angle. However they got it in, I'm sure it's not, you know, I don't think they could have been forcing it. I'm sure this thing already had finish on it when they put the pot in. And there's no way they wired it inside. Or maybe I'm thinking, maybe the wires have to go first. That would make sense. Like, if I can get this capacitor out. I desperately don't want to break any of these old leads. I don't know why, but like, this part doesn't matter that much. I really don't want to hurt anything on the pickup. Let's double check here again. Like, this hole's 1 inch. Yeah, almost exactly. Very slightly under 1 inch. The other sound hole's the same. And the biggest opening on the pickup hole, 7/8 wide. It's got to come out. It's got to come out through there. I don't see another option. And yet, we may be desoldering these things to make it. That doesn't make sense to me, though. It had to go in soldered together, right? Let's try the other. It's not going that way. Let's try the other direction. And it's got to be somehow at an angle for this to work, I think. What angle? The pot is bigger than 1 inch. Oh no. If I can get this one with all the junk on it, with this huge cap and all this other stuff soldered to it, this tone pot, and I can get a little the volume pot should come out comparatively easily. I'll tell you this right now, once this is out of here, I'm done for the day. 'Cause this is dumb. Well, let's try again through the pickup hole, because I don't see it coming out of that F-hole. Because we got a lot of room this way on, this way on the pickup hole. Maybe I can squidge it at just the right angle. I mean, if it comes down to it, this is so broken. I don't want to break it worse, though. Let's see what we can do. Move the other side. Oop. Well, I think we're to the point I might start desoldering some of this stuff. Just because I don't... Look, there's probably some ship in a bottle way of getting this out of here, but I cannot figure it out. You beat me. You beat me, guitar. Feels weird. Oh man, that smells insane. I'm just burning dust in here. It always feels weird desoldering things that have been soldered for like 70 years. I think it's looped around. What the freak? Oh, I think it's official. The guys who did this wiring are fucking assholes. God damn. Just inept today. I'm not going to cut these leads. I refuse to cut the leads. I also don't want to cook these old pots, but I guess it doesn't really matter. You can always just replace the pots, but I prefer... It's not like this is some pristine guitar. They looped the leg of this capacitor around the little connecting point here. I don't know even how. It makes no sense in there. It seems like it's equally behind and in front and sticking out. Jeez. Well, let's see if we can Jenga it out of here again. I'm not going to give up. Because at this point, I could just cut. I could cut right here. The pickup's all that really matters in this scenario. But no, I just, out of principle, I can't. It's not budging. All right, back to the sound hole. God, if I haven't ruined this pickup by the end of this, I'll be... Whew. This is very frustrating. This is a very frustrating process. I'm not even really a person who ascribes to the feeling that, like, I don't think caps sound any different from each other. I can't hear the difference. So really, just a paper and oil cap like that is more of an annoying thing to me than, I don't know, some cool, but it's cool looking. I like them and the idea of them. I don't think it makes that much of a difference in the way that the guitar sounds. You're just limiting the same frequencies. I don't, that's all a capacitor is doing. At least that's my understanding. You can see here, like, okay, if I were to, there, now I'm really in that. If I were to pull up sort of violently, I could make it come out. If it goes butt first, maybe. Ah! Let's try it butt first. Ah! I'm so glad this is a totally fucked guitar. If this was something in good shape, I'd be ruining it. Oh, is it gonna come this way? Look, I've got most of that pot other than all the stem of it. It's ready to come out. Okay, there's one more direction to try it before I give up. I don't even know what giving up's gonna entail. I guess I have to take the back off before I can... That sounds so stupid to me, though. I'm just turning this pot around, trying to not drop it. Process. All right. Will it come up this direction? I give up. What did they do? How did they do this? It can't go the other... It can't go through the other F-hole. I refuse to believe it went through the other F-hole. How did they even put this in here? Oh my God. Maybe I'm missing something just fundamental. There's no... Like, the jack was just in... Like, it's just a hole where the jack was. There's no way it's going out that way. The pickup hole is smaller than the F-holes. Can't go out that way. There's sort of a gaping hole in the back of the guitar, but that wasn't there to begin with. Ay, ay, ay. The thing I'm wrestling with right now is even if I got it unsoldered, I think I'd have the same problem like you just saw with the volume pot in there, that just the pot itself does not fit outside of this hole. I've definitely marked up the finish that's on the inside of this F-hole here, trying to do this. Just, I don't care about. That's not the point. But my point is, they didn't get the electronics in here with the back off, right? That's absurd. And then, what, spray and finish this whole thing? No, of course not. It had to have gone in, everything had to have gone in through these F-holes. My only question is, How? In what world? And this is sort of like a meme in guitar repair. It's like, oh, pulling the electronics through the F-holes is hard. Yeah, it's inherently hard, but this one just doesn't make sense. All right, I'm going to side with all the legs on this one. All right, just for the sake of argument, let's get what should be the easiest one to get out of there, this volume pot. Boy, when it's like that, it's almost like ready to go, but not quite, it's still hanging up. See, right now, I think I'm left with trying to unsolder it. Boy, and it's wrapped all around that little leg right there. Even unsoldering it's going to suck. Now I'm afraid I unsolder it and I'll just lose it in there. Because at least when they're soldered together like this, they're tied. Let's go post first here. Maybe this way. No? No, you say? How about like that? I'll go. There's no angle at which it will go. I don't understand. This is getting to be silly now. Should I just quit working on guitars? Is that what this is telling me? Am I just so out of my element here?